The video will be long, so make yourself comfortable. I was honestly surprised by your reaction to these nails. They're just pecking. There were so many comments and oddly even more saves. And here we have two big fingers. There are stars because they're really pecking, and their cuticles and matrix area are also picked at. All this leads to inflammation and soreness. Well, we'll go over all of this separately now. This is our home cover, and I've already removed all the rhinestones. The nails weren't done in Kazan, but she's my regular client. She went to Sochi and brought them back to me. And here they are. And so, the first part of the video is dedicated to how you can lift a downward growing nail without adding extra material. The whole secret and trick is just to place the file under the nail, like I did at the very beginning, and simply start filing. And just a little at an angle, about 25-30 degrees approximately. We'll file off the hooked part to make straight parallels. And all this needs to be done before starting the removal. Well, of course, unless there are some serious detachments, right? So I lifted all of this, then I removed the colored part, and now I'm using a file, a 100 and 180 grit the 100 side. I was removing the unnecessary thickness and started creating a beautiful shape. We tweaked it from the inside, refined it with a file, and shaped it under the nails. Notice that the lower parallels are parallel. And now let's talk about nails that can't be lifted using this method, because it's so curved down that only gel, acrygel, polygel, or whatever you prefer, including acrylic, will help you here. Of course, I tried here as well, but during the process I realized that all my efforts were just in vain. It's useless. With those kinds of manipulations, you can't lift anything there, because the nail is just like a hawk's beak, curving very strongly downward. Honestly, I don't know how they filed it like that there, but overall, the coating itself is done pretty well. Yes, the architecture suffers, but everything, including the rhinestones, stayed on. Everything's fine, but the technician doesn't know how to lift nails like that. Maybe she didn't have time, didn't want to, or had other reasons. And now let's get back to our thumb. Besides the fact that it's growing who knows where, it's just living its own life. So to speak, it's going against the system, not following the rules. It also has a quirk. This nail is very picked at. She picks at it herself. It's not any kind of fungus. Exactly, absolutely 100%, really, just not at all, not in any way. She has a strange habit of nervously picking at her cuticle with her index finger. Now I'm removing and opening the detachments. These are injuries, constant systematic injuries that she inflicts on herself. So the nail grows all bumpy and wavy because of this, and when you flip it over, well, if there's a dent on top, there will naturally be a bump underneath, and because of all this, the material peels off quite a lot. So apparently in Sochi they didn't clean anything up either, and that's why I had to open everything up, clean it out, remove and pull everything out so there wouldn't be any unpleasant consequences. You can see the grooves very clearly, these transverse ones, across the nail. And let's also pay attention to the lunula, the moon, see how big and healthy it is. I'll wipe this off, degrease it for visibility, then show and explain it to her. Oh no, not now, a little later, I'll show that separately in a moment. I just got a bit mixed up with the steps. Now, while we're moving on to another nail, which is about the same shape, we also carefully do the same thing symmetrically, push the cuticle down, remove any hooked parts, if that's even a word. Basically, we remove them. This unpleasant part that grows downward, we remove it as much as possible without losing too much length. Next, we remove it. We remove all the excess material, also file away anything inside that's in the way, and clean up all these separations. This picking is much deeper than before, likely with the right hand, because it's more convenient. That's my understanding. There was also a serious preventive conversation about this, not for the first time, but she promised, swore, and vowed that she wouldn't do it anymore. In the meantime, we're filing the top, meaning the upper part of the architecture, shaping it as best as we can. We can also see some lifting there. We start opening all of this up again. Nothing should be left untouched. Nothing should remain unfiled. Sorry, I'm getting confused. It's 2 AM and I'm recording audio. Also, we're back to that finger. Now I'm showing her lunula, which she has, and right now I'm showing how much it's exposed. This is the nail bed from her picking at it, and the matrix is very close, so I can't give her a proper good manicure. Even though there's all sorts of stuff packed under the cuticle. If I go in there, I'll just cause her another injury, so my movements and actions will be as superficial as possible. Now I need to clean up what I can, and it won't be a wow effect. I always explain to the client that by doing this, they limit my abilities and they limit their own chances of getting a good quality manicure. So I could do better, but right now, to avoid causing harm, I won't go in there. I'll clean it up as best as I can, shake off the dust, trim a little, and we'll leave it at that. By the way, we also won't be putting any coating under the cuticle on the big toes because I can't clean it properly there. There's something strange left there, kind of like calluses. And of course, it won't be possible to apply anything evenly there, neither base, nor gel, nor polish, nor anything else. So we'll still leave about 0.5 millimeter from the cuticle, that way there will probably be less trouble. Here's our second finger where I'm at least trying to move it, though I know I can't, it's just a mess there. Right here, there's just a callus, like a heel callus, right on the finger, on the hand. Yeah, I always try to do this from the inside, at least try to drill it out somehow. I don't even know what word to use here. Basically, we're trying to dig a tunnel there, but so far it's all been unsuccessful. Let's clean it up. We'll keep the client updated throughout. I never get tired of doing this. I lecture everyone. I never lose hope. I always keep going, thinking that maybe my advice will help someone, because I just don't see any point in such self-sabotage. It doesn't do any good at all, so why do it? Everyone knows if you put your leg under a circular saw, you'll lose it and won't get another. That's not good. When someone knows picking their nails is bad, but keeps doing it, it's like sticking your leg in a circular saw. So it's a completely illogical action and absolutely negative. There's no need for it anywhere or in any way. In the meantime, let's keep cleaning up, or rather, sanding. By the way, you can see how the cuticle is so raised, thick and inflamed. In short, it all looks pretty unappealing. We're refining what we can with the file, and I'm still using a 100-180 grit. When we're done cleaning up, we degrease the nail and prepare it for coating by applying a dehydrator. Make sure to do it thoroughly so that not a single millimeter of the nail is left unattended. Next, we apply a non-acid primer from the BANDI brand. It's vitamin-enriched and specifically designed for thin, brittle, or damaged nails. And the base coat from the same Vita Basa series. My dehydrator is from the Glow brand. We'll put all of this under the lamp to cure, and then we'll restore the nail architecture using Polygel. We'll do the same steps with the second finger. See the hole? It's clear, the shadows go right in. Unfortunately, nothing can be done right away. Also, primer dehydrator, the same as the previous one, base coat, also from Bandi. I hope someone is listening, because I'm just tired of writing the same thing in the comments. Okay, now the Polygel. We just put on a huge blob, a really giant one, yes, just this big. We use brushes, and everyone has their own. I use an old acrylic brush that's 6 years old. Honestly, it's probably from ages ago. You need to moisten it with a degreaser, alcohol, or whatever you use, it doesn't matter, or with a special liquid. Next, we gently even and smooth it out. The Polygel I'm using is from the brand Tatnail. It's not the only brand I work with, I use a lot of different products. I'm not attached to any brand since I haven't found a favorite yet, and honestly, I haven't found any bad Polygel either. That's it. While working, I saw my blob wasn't enough, so I'm adding more. I even use the professional slang, blob. We pile on the blob and pat it. But at least it's clear, right? At least in Russian they're not unknown words, so we piled it on, patted it down, and leveled it. On the surface we get the right shape, but from the side it looks like a little monster. One more. Did I step out of the frame? We pile another little blob like this onto the second nail. We're using so much material because the nail is pointing really far down, and we need to lift it up. We smooth near the cuticle, then gently and carefully start pulling it, smoothing out each part, every millimeter. So that there's less filing on top, then we'll only need to file the bottom and create a small, natural arch from the inside. The nails are big, so we try to match their shape to the others. We won't make them perfectly straight, just slightly like this, with a slight curve, so to speak. Then we dried all of this for a minute thoroughly because the height is really good, quite decent. If your lamp isn't strong enough, dry for 2 or 3 minutes to be safe. Then degrease and use the same 100-180 file. Start with 100, then use 180. We file the top. Following the same steps as before, we continue. Then turn it over and remove everything underneath. This is the mess that we don't need. I was filing there, realized I hadn't dried it enough, so I sent it to dry right in the middle of filing. There's nothing wrong with that. I finished drying it and continued filing. Now everything is fine there. Our bit is too thick, so I'm switching to a thinner bit. I'm working closer to the skin. Don't forget to pull back the cuticle to avoid touching it. I'm evening out the length by the middle finger. I'm comparing the thumb with this file. Use a centimeter ruler or whatever's convenient. Some use a piece of nail form. I only had a nail file on hand, so I just eyeballed it the way I wanted. I also worked on the cuticle area with a drill, removed the excess bulk and filed the inside of the second finger. Always examine the nail from every angle, tip, right, left, top or side. As soon as you see the right shape, please make sure it looks as similar as possible to all the others. After finishing, brush off dust and degrease. And then we'll need to even it out a little with the base coat so the nail is smooth and a bit more voluminous. Here's our final result. The nail looks pretty good, the side walls are parallel, and it has a slight apex. I think it turned out really well. I didn't record the manicure itself this time, since there's probably nothing new there, just snowflakes, just blue matte. By the way, yes, look, see how it's not too close to the cuticle? Here's the other hand, and now here's the second thumb. You can see it clearly here, but that was the best I could do. I didn't try to get closer or force anything. Sometimes you must be flexible and rational. Overall, I think the manicure turned out great. Thank you so much to everyone who put up with my chatter. I hope there won't be any silly questions in the comments, but if there are, of course, I'll try to answer them. But still, I hope you'll listen to what I'm saying. So I'm saying goodbye to everyone. Thank you all very much. Goodbye.